Today I want to talk to you about my experience building my IDOBAO ID80. While this is my first complete build of a keyboard, it is a hot swap kit and ended up being very similar to modding my Keycron boards. However, being a full kit and being a full metal chassis, I did learn a couple things along the way. At a high level, I think this keyboard is a great choice for beginners for the same reason I endorsed the Keycron K8. While its layout is a little bit different than the K8's familiar 10 keyless layout, it still shares many of the same keys. Regardless of time in the hobby, I still think this is a great kit due to its build quality, variety of finishes available, and the fact that it's compatible with QMK and VIA, allowing for a lot of customization. If I had to nitpick one thing about this keyboard, it would be the layout of the modifier keys. I use my keyboards in the Mac OS layout even when in Windows, which means to the left of the spacebar you'll find Control, Alt, and then the OS key, and on the right side you would find OS, Alt, Control, the reverse order. However, on keyboards like this, where there's only two keys to the right of the spacebar, in the expected Windows layout you'd have an Alt key and a Control key. Many keycap sets include 1.5U Control keys and 1.5U Alt keys, but very few include a 1.5U OS key. So, in the situation here, I've had to use a 1.25U OS key, which it doesn't change anything functionally. However, since aesthetics are a large part of this hobby, it is annoying. Preamble over, let's get to the build. First things first, I tested my PCB by connecting it to my computer, opening any of the variety of key testing softwares out there, I actually just use a website, and poked every single hot socket with a pair of tweezers. You want to find out now if you've got a loose socket or a bad trace on the PCB, because if you find out after you're done building, it's a much bigger pain. Next up was lubing my switches. My initial inspiration from this build came from Reddit user G-Harrell and their post on the mechanical keyboard subreddit. Something about their build just had this cool vintage feel to it that I really liked. Like you'd see this keyboard sitting in front of an old terminal. I think that's largely due to the layout of the nav cluster and that blocker there. Just looks cool. I just gotten some vintage cherry black switches when I saw that Reddit post and thought it might be cool to do a whole vintage themed build. Vintage case, vintage keys, and some vintage looking keycaps. However, in my research for cleaning and prepping of vintage cherry switches, I learned you should not use them in hot swap keyboards. The reason for this is when you harvest cherry switches, you don't quite get all the solder off the legs. This little bit of extra width on the legs from the leftover solder can actually be enough to punch out hot swap sockets because they fit so tightly to clean switches. As a plan B, I got some retooled cherry blacks, lubed them up with Krytox 205 grade 0, and bag lubed the springs for the first time with Krytox 105. I cannot express my love for the cherry blacks enough. I love the smoothness, the sound, I love the heavier weight of the switches. I'm just a really big fan. They come in at about 40 cents a switch, so while they're still twice as much as the budget Linear King Milky Gateron yellows, they cost less than half as much as Zeal PC Telios that I used on my last build, while honestly probably performing just as well. In fact, I might even rank the cherry blacks a little bit higher because I like the weight, but that's up to personal taste, so it's really hard to say. Moving on to prepping the case now. The ID80 has a pretty well-known flaw that it can be quite metallic sounding due to the integrated plate. This is easily solved by putting foam between the plate and the PCB while building the keyboard. If you're buying an ID80 directly from IDOBAO, they actually sell a piece of silencing foam that is laser cut to fit between the two. When I ordered my ID80 from AliExpress, however, I was unaware that this piece of foam existed, so I ended up using KBD Fan's module foam. This is laser cut adhesive foam designed to go on the back of plates, between plates, and PCBs to solve this precise problem. It can be a little fiddly to install, but I learned a couple things along the way I think might be helpful, so here's what I did. I put some switches in the plate before I started to install the foam. I used the leftover Gateron Reds that were originally in my Keycron K8 because I didn't know how the adhesive on the foam might interact with the switches, and I didn't want to ruin my cherry blacks. What this does is it gives the foam some structure to work around. Instead of trying to aim the foam precisely over a flat hole in a flat plate, it kind of can rest around the switch. I'm happy to report that the adhesive didn't get on the red switches at all, so don't worry about ruining your switches if you're doing the same. The trickiest pieces of foam by far to place are the ones where there's two pieces of foam on either side of the new piece you're trying to put in. What I found worked well was using the broad end of a black nylon spudger or a black stick, depending on what you learn to call them. If you use the broad end as kind of a shim between the currently existing piece on one side and the new piece coming in, it can slide right past and go into place. Again, if you're building an ID80, just buy it directly from IDOBAO and buy the piece of foam they make, but if for whatever reason you're using the KBD Fan's module foam on another build, I hope these tips are helpful to you. Pivoting back to the PCB, it is now time to install the stabilizers. As I was able to find my ID80 on AliExpress, I wanted to see if I could get the keycaps and stabilizers on AliExpress as well. Make this a sort of no group buy build that someone could do at any time. I found what I was pretty sure were unbranded Durox stabilizers on AliExpress. Now having received them, I'm even more sure of that. I lubed them and prepared them according to the method Teha Types outlines in his tutorial, link in the description, but I did make one small deviation. Instead of putting band-aids on the PCB, I used the KBD Fan Stabilizer Foam stickers. These work really well because they're pre-cut, so they fit the space perfectly. I do have just one critique of them though. On any of the stabilized keys on my ID80, if I hold it down for any amount of time, it does hesitate just a little bit when coming back up, almost like it's sinking down into the foam. I can confirm this is due to the fact I use dielectric grease on the foam stickers, as you typically would on band-aids on PCBs. The reason I know this is because I built my Tentaku calculator kit using those same foam stickers, but I skipped the dielectric grease and it is not a problem on this kit. As a side note, in my Case 6 video, I mentioned at some point making a full video about the Tentaku once I built it. It turned out to be not as interesting as I thought. I thought you had to solder everything on, turns out you just need to solder on the switches. So I'll probably forego a video of its own, it may show up in some other ones. Long story short, it is a fun kit that takes about an evening to do. It'd be a great gift for someone, or it is some good practice if you're getting ready to solder your first keyboard, as the switches mount to this PCB just as they would in a full build. Back to the ID80. Now with everything prepped, it's time for assembly. First things first, you want to mount your PCB into the case, making sure your stabilizers are mounted. Once your PCB is in the case, I recommend immediately flipping it over, putting in the switches for the stabilized keys, putting on the keycaps, and giving them a test. Much like checking the PCB at the beginning, it is much easier to fix rattly stabilizers now rather than later. Once those check out, snap in the rest of your switches, put on your keycaps, and you've got a functional keyboard. For my keycaps, I once again lucked out and found something I like on AliExpress. After using XDA profile keycaps on my K6, cherry profile keycaps on my K8, I wanted to branch out and continue trying new things. Sticking with the vintage aesthetic of this board, I wanted to go with SA keycaps as I was eager to try them anyway. I was able to find these Dama-Key SA keycaps that are made from dual shot ABS. They are a very simple white on black color scheme, and I just love them. I love the scallop on top, I love the sharp legends, I love the way SA keycaps sound. The one modification I did make was to put KBD Fan spacebar foam into the spacebar, just to tone that noise down a little bit. Now time for some aftercare and some mods I chose to perform. First things first, I wanted to get the firmware set up to my liking. As I mentioned, I use my keyboards in the Mac OS layout, so I loaded up the QMK configurator online, got the mods all switched around into the order I like, and additionally I added a layer to the keyboard, so when I hold down the key to the right of the F12 key, it switches the function keys over to media keys. Because of the way the QMK firmware works, these media keys actually work in both Mac OS and Windows, which is really nice. I also set up a keyboard shortcut that I've already forgotten to turn off the LED underglow on the PCB. I did this for two reasons. First off, really just not an LED guy. Different strokes for different folks. Second, the bottom of the case on the ID80 is completely solid, so you cannot see it in its stock configuration. IDOBAO does sell an acrylic bottom you can now get for the ID80 V1, and the brand new ID80 V2 that is kind of out now. It's out of group buy, it's not quite super available for purchase yet. Actually has some modifications, giving the keyboard some side glow now as well, and adds a brass weight to the back of the case. Speaking of brass, another reason the ID80 can sound quite metallic is because it's quite hollow in the back, much like the Keychron boards actually. In my research about the ID80, I came across a video from Keycaps, where they install a brass bar and some foam into the underside of their ID80 to help with this sound. Fortunately, the brass bar they use is actually one that's just available on Amazon and is perfect size right out of the box. I too chose to do this to my ID80. However, instead of the neoprene foam they used in their video, I chose to use some 2.5mm 40 Duro sorbethane rubber. Quite the mouthful. I had to do a little bit of experimenting, but I found first placing in the 50mm wide brass bar, then placing in two 25mm strips of sorbethane, one on top and one in front of the bar, allowed everything to be held into place just with the bottom pressure of the case being installed. No adhesive or fasteners needed. I do highly recommend leaving the brass bar in its bag as to avoid any shorting issues with the PCB. In the description you'll find links to the products used for this mod, as well as the original Keycaps video. It's also the video that originally alerted me to the existence of the KBD Fans module foam. This mod really made a big difference in improving the sound of the keyboard, and it's just heavier now, which is always cool. I will include two sound tests at the end of this video, one before installing this and one after installing this. Still wanting to add just a little bit more of that vintage vibe I wanted for the build, I decided to add just one more thing. In another Reddit post by user VoidBrush, they posted their gray ID80, where in the space below the nav cluster they put an Atari case badge and it looked awesome. I really liked it, so I went looking on Etsy for something similar that sparked joy for me, and I found this great Etsy store called Luke Parts, which I assume I'm saying correctly, but I'll leave a link in the description just to be safe. They sell all kinds of case badges, including the square one I found that fits just perfect on that spot bearing the Commodore logo. I think it really tops off the build, so big thanks to VoidBrush for that inspiration. This build turned out exactly as I hope, and I really enjoy the layout of the ID80. This build has firmly implanted with me a love for the SA keycap profile and for the 75% layout. This sort of expanded 75% layout is very common right now. It was recently on the rerun Satisfaction 75, it's on Glorious's new GMMK Pro coming out next year, and I've seen it on a few other interest checks on Reddit and Geek Hack lately. I'm honestly pretty torn between this layout or 10 keyless being my favorite. They both include all the keys that I use on a regular basis, whereas 10 keyless keyboards usually have a little more character to them, the 75% keyboards have compactness on their side. It's hard to say. Following will be two different sound tests, one with the ID80 stock and one with the ID80 with the brass bar and sorbethane rubber installed in the back. I'll switch back and forth between them a couple times for sake of comparison. I appreciate you watching all the way to the end of the video and for coming on the journey with me of my first build. If you've got any questions, please leave a comment below so I can answer it. If you've enjoyed this video, check out my channel, you might find something else you like. And if you want to see more, drop a like on the video and subscribe. It's free and allows you to keep up with any future projects I've got coming, and I've got some good ones. The final side of this video will be a breakdown of the price of the parts, tools, and supplies I used to build this keyboard. It won't be completely exhaustive, I mainly just include things that are a little off the beaten path of normal hand tools and are specific to the keyboard hobby. Thanks for watching.